Hello everyone, it's your Options Guy. Welcome back to another video. So in today's video we're gonna cover Palantir and basically gonna show you guys a couple things. So number one, we're gonna go over some chart data just to see like kind of where it's heading, if it's doing a breakout or not, or if it's gonna go back down to like a bearish type of trend and stuff like that. And then we're gonna shift over to the option data for Palantir. So I'm gonna show you guys what happened today in terms of options. If it's bullish, if it's bearish, where are people putting their money in, like what are the bigger bets going towards and all that stuff. And we'll cover that in more detail. And then I'll show you guys basically two articles. I'll show you first like a article that just recently came out, which is a bearish article. And I know it's another bearish article. Palantir doesn't, they get enough bearish articles in my opinion, but yeah, I'll show you guys the latest one and has a price target. And then I'll also show you guys an article that also just recently came out, which is the path to $1 trillion valuation. And the person who wrote this actually makes some pretty fair points, I would say. So wanted to point out basically like their analysis and just go over that with you guys and talk about my opinions of Palantir and such. And then lastly, I'll shift over to my portfolio and show you guys what I'm doing with Palantir and stuff like that. So all I ask is that you hit that like button, subscribe, comment, make sure you check out my channel for other videos. I'm doing more content on coin and SoFi as of right now. So yeah, let's get into it. So as you can see here, Palantir, this is basically the chart. So ever since we kind of broke all the way up into this range, this 20 to kind of 30 range, we've been somewhat here for a while, except for this huge like spike that occurred back in January. And yeah, so we've been trading for the most part within this 20 to 30 range for a while. But looking at it more closely, we actually dipped past this strong 20, 21, 20 range support that we had. We actually dipped down below it. I think we hit like 15 at the lowest, or 15, 17 at the lowest. And ever since then, we've just been like uptrending. And it seems like we're still going. And I'll show you guys why in the option data. But so you can see we're doing like a small, I don't know if it's gonna be like a consolidation right here for a little bit, but yeah, we need to break that 25 range and hold above 25, because I think 25 has been like a pretty strong resistance as of lately. Right here, 25 around right here. So 25 definitely around there, strong resistance, and it seems like the support has kind of come back around that 22 range, 22, 23 range. So we've definitely just been like consolidating right here for the last couple days. So that's basically what's going on in terms of chart data. Now let's shift over to the option data. So these are the options that came in today. So as you can see, the majority of the options are, or like the call to put ratio is pretty high. So mainly bullish. So let's take a look at or analyze this a little bit further. So if I filter down by the premium, where like the biggest money is going, so at the top it's a call for 23 strike, but that expires in November. And there were some that came in, or some puts that came in. However, I think the good news is that they're at the 32 strike. So these are really deep in the money. So only for really deep in the money put, that doesn't necessarily mean they expect it to like go down, or yeah, down that significantly move, or like have a huge like downtrend if it's deep in the money. If it was like super out the money, like if they're like picking 20s or 15s or something, and they're putting a lot of money in, then that would kind of like, you can kind of analyze it as like maybe there is going to be a huge downtrend for Palantir. But anyways, so other than that, if we break it down by strikes, so other than these puts right here, 30s we have some 30s right here for calls, 28s, 27s. So these are more out the money. So as you can see, they're buying these strikes out the money because they were buying it at the 24, 23 range. So they're buying, you know, these calls out the money, and And if we filter down by expiration, basically the one that's going to expire the soonest, so 625 is the closest one, and then the next ones were on July, and then August, September. There's a lot of Septembers right here. Septembers for 26, 27s. Yeah, so overall, it seems like there's still more of a bullish type of sentiment for Palantir, and I'm trying to figure out why personally, because normally there's somewhat of a catalyst that's coming out, but lately I haven't really seen a catalyst other than I think the latest contract that they got was for like 7.8 million. But other than that, I haven't seen anything like big upcoming. I don't think their earnings is coming yet. I think their earnings is still due for a couple weeks, so I just don't know why there's so many calls that are being purchased lately. So like back in the day, I think it was puts that were coming in more ever since they had their earnings, or like their first earnings. There was like a lot of puts, and then with the whole lockup expiration, there was just like a lot of puts, but now it's like switching over to calls. So yeah, I haven't really seen like why. I've been trying to look out for the news there, but I'll keep you updated. But anyway, so now let's take a look at these articles. So the first bear, let's talk about the bear article. So this person they're giving it a fair price of 14.45, and basically they just cover their financials, and they're taking a look at their performance and everything. And I mean, yeah, if you look at it in paper, if you were to like think of like what's a fair price as of right now, like yeah, sure, fair price would be 14.15. That seems like a fair price, but I mean, as investors, you invest for like the future, and you're willing to pay a little more because you expect the company to grow, right? So if you just want to pay like retail value, then yeah, 14.15 will probably be like the retail value of like what it is, worth right now. But you have to look at it at like its growth and like its projections and all that stuff. So yeah, basically final thoughts. Palantir is a high growth company that operates worldwide in both commercial and government. It has a powerful AI. However, having an AI seems to be a buzzword to justify skyrocket valuations and blah, blah, blah. So yeah, that's basically like what this person is saying. But let's go over to this article. So the path to $1 trillion valuation. I feel like this person makes a lot of good points. So in summary, Palantir has a dominant moat in U.S. government. I think no one is like has a counter argument to that. I think that has been pretty established with Palantir. And the biggest down or bearish case that you can make for Palantir is that their foundry, it hasn't been like exposed as much lately. Like they're barely getting into that private sector, that commercial side instead of the government side. So that's mainly been like the bearish type of sentiment. But other than that, yeah, there's a lot of good personally I think reasons to invest into Palantir. So I mean, I'm not a financial advisor, but we'll cover that in a second. So here they talk about Gotham and how their government growth has just like increased like dramatically since last year, 76% increase year over year during the quarter. So that's pretty impressive. So a lot of their government expansion has been not just in the US, but also in the UK. They've been getting more and more contracts in the UK as well, and also Japan. Let's not forget about Japan. So Palantir is not just like focused on US government. So they're branching out for like multiple types of governments, except I think China. Obviously, I think Palantir has had like kind of a basically like they've been somewhat aggressive towards China and saying China is kind of like their competitor, if anything. So yeah, anyway, so here's some like key points. So number one, they are offering a free trial of Foundry to companies that need help with reopening after COVID-19. So this is good because that's already establishing like kind of like a freebie, kind of like how Costco gives out free samples. That's already good. Getting their feet wet into multiple like companies, like saying, hey, try out our stuff. Basically we think you're gonna like it, and then once you end up liking it, we're just gonna sell it to you. And so the second point is that they've kind of expanded their sales team thanks to like the partnership with IBM. And number three, which is kind of interesting, is Palantir is actively looking for ways to make it play in cryptocurrency space as another avenue of growth. So this one's actually really interesting because not too long ago, Peter Thiel was actually kind of having some harsh criticism about cryptocurrency and how China has like a lot of power with cryptocurrency. And then out of nowhere, like Palantir started, I think they're accepting Bitcoin as payment. And then shortly after that, I think China has been like banning crypto or Bitcoin at least, and they're trying to do like their own type of crypto and stuff. So like I think opinions regarding crypto kind of just changed dramatically with Palantir. At first, it seemed like they were kind of against it, and then all of a sudden they're for it. So there's that. Anyway, so number four, they are innovating to improve their utility and affordability for small and medium-sized businesses, growing their US and UK qualified pipeline to increase by 2.5 times over the past year. So just to let you know, actually before I get into that, yeah, so number three, SPACs. So SPACs is a big exciting way to think of like the growth and like the projection of what Palantir could be making. So I think this bearish article over here didn't take into consideration of the SPACs that Palantir is actually investing in. And so yeah, so there's that, because you know, like if you invest early in SPACs and then the SPACs blow up, and you're generating revenue off of that, so that adds to your valuation. So overall, basically right here they say that we expect that within 20 years, so you have to think, or you have to remember that this is a long-term type of hold. It's not going to be a short-term. If anything, Palantir could probably trade between, you know, current price 25 around there to like 40 for like the next year. It could just trade around there for a while, and then all of a sudden, like, you know, start spiking after their contracts have been like kind of set in place, and the company is more mature, and their costs have like come down dramatically and all that stuff. So yeah, you have to take all that into account. So it's definitely going to be a long-term hold. And then overall, they basically go over like the numbers here that says right here. So therefore, we estimate that stock-based, sorry, not that one. Yeah, right here. So at a 35x multiple plus other equity investments, which I think they're talking about the SPACs, that would imply that company be worth 913 billion. So I mean, you can kind of like round up, I guess, to 1 trillion right here, because I guess they're counting other types of investment to account for the revenue and stuff. So yeah, they're basically saying like if Palantir meets their projections and they keep growing at a certain pace, obviously they're not going to be having like 40%, 50% growth year over year. They're even cutting it down to, I think, 37. And you know, with all that in place, by 2040, they expect it to be around 1 trillion valuation. So 1 trillion valuation is pretty big, because right now the company is trading at about, I think, 40 to 50, let's just say 50 valuation. So it would be like times 20 basically. So whatever the price is right now, so let's see, 20, I think it's 25 times 20, whatever that is, that's kind of like where you expect the stock price to be at a 1 trillion valuation, which is actually pretty huge. So yeah, like, I mean, again, this is all like, well, one, it's long term, 2040, and then it's also taking into consideration a lot of things. And then I think the biggest takeaway though is that Palantir doesn't really have like a direct competitor that I've seen. So yeah, they have some different types of competitors, but their competitors have different like niche type of markets, and Palantir has its own niche market as well. So it's not like another competitor just comes out into the blue, or out of the blue, and then, you know, starts competing within the same niche market as Palantir, based on what I've seen. But anyway, so yeah, this is basically like the analysis of how like it could be worth 1 trillion and by 2040. Again, it's a long-term hold, but yeah, that would mean the stock price would like 20x from current. from current stock price. So if you're planning to hold until 2040, then it seems like you'll be making pretty good gains. Anyway, so that's it for, oh, actually, let me just showcase my portfolio lastly. So here's my portfolio. I'm holding 1,000 shares of Palantir as of right now. I am also investing into AYX because I think AYX is also good for in terms of data. So again, like AYX is, like, some people compare AYX as a competitor to Palantir, which it is in some cases, but they do their own different things in different ways. So Palantir is more of like, I think of it as like a data type of tool, but also more of like an integration type of tool, whereas AYX is more of like do-it-yourself type of analytics. So different types of strategies there. So yeah, and then also I've been investing into coin and SoFi lately. So if you're interested in coin or SoFi, check out those videos as well that I've been posting. But yeah, that's my overall analysis, and I hope you liked it. So make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next